Welcome to the Field of 68 After Dark's YouTube channel. We are going to be live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on YouTube and on Stadium for the entirety of the spring.
The Spartans got better today. They pick up a commit from Longwood transfer Zeman Zapala. 7-footer, 240-pound center, averaged close to 10 points and 6 rebounds per game, only 17 minutes per game, so didn't play a lot. But Zeman Zapala is now in East Lansing. You have said the Spartans front court, an area of question for you. Zapala figures to help that out. Also has been at Utah State. What are your thoughts on this commit? What are your thoughts on Michigan State?
Well, for starters, you say that they got better. Are we positive that they did? Are we positive that this dude is going to play in 3 seasons at Utah State? He played a grand total of 45 basketball games and never averaged more than a point and a half. Fanta. Okay, we're not exactly talking about adding Cooper Flagg to the mix here. Okay, but what Michigan State needed on this roster was size, interior presence, a 5-man. Mady Sissoko is gone. Malik Hall is gone. And I don't know if Michigan State fans fully trust the development of Xavier Booker, if he's even a 5-man, Carson Cooper, Jackson Kohler. So what they really wanted was Tom Izzo to get out there in the portal and find a center, right? Get out there and see if you can get in the mix with somebody like a Norchad O'Meara, who didn't end up going there, with someone like a Cliff Amori, who didn't end up going there, with some of these other top centers that were putting their names in the portal. And that didn't end up happening. They did land Frankie Fiddler, and I do think, frankly, Fiddler is going to be a really good player at Michigan State. But they needed a 5-man, and they went out and they landed a 5-man. And they got a guy that is 7 foot 240, and you know that Tom Izzo is going to like big bodies. I am not convinced that is the answer that they needed, but I'm also not convinced that there isn't already enough on that roster, right, to be able to be a top 25 kind of a team. And maybe I'm just on my own planet, and maybe I need to stop, taking the edibles that are now legal to be taken in the state of New Jersey. But give me Xavier Booker, a former 5-star that's going to be there for a second season. Play some small ball with Cohen Carr at the 5. Trust in the development of Jeremy Fears, right? And just see what you got, man. Like I get some of the hesitancy to head into a season without an elite 5-man, but I don't know if you need it in this day and age. Am I off base here? Like Tom Izzo's been doing this for long enough that I think that it is fair to sit here and say it is wrong to question a guy that is going to end up being a Hall of Famer in this business.
Well, I mean, we've questioned John Calipari, and he's a Hall of Famer. We've questioned others. So
Yeah, but
it's
we don't
not
like
like
Coach Cal, according to the commenters. That's the only reason we question him. We don't question
we
Tom Izzo because we like him.
Well, look, Tom Izzo is very likable because he speaks his mind. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. But when I think Michigan State and Tom Izzo, I typically think there's a reason why they're in the Champions Classic every year. You know, they are, under him, have been a blue blood type of program. If they haven't earned that status in their many glory years. But and the amount of second weekends, the amount of Final Four trips that he's led them on. But this Michigan State team does not look like a Final Four team. They don't look close to that. They look like a good team that can make the tournament and probably be in a 7, 10, 8, 9 type of game. Look, Frankie Fiddler was a great ad. I mean, that was a really nice transfer portal ad. Fiddler had a lot of interest. He'll fill that wing slot. He'll be able to score, and he could stretch the floor as well. Cohen Carr, I'm bullish on his development with an offseason and like the upside there. But at the end of the day, like you're counting on this kid that they bring in. You're counting on Xavier Booker. Like Xavier Booker was thought to be a guy who was going to come into Michigan State. This time last year, Rob, when we were talking about the Spartans, we said Xavier Booker's going to answer a lot of the questions that this team had in the front court. And so now with the amount of guard play they have, they should be able to piece it all together. That did not happen. So the other element is, are we going to see Jeremy Fears and Jaden Akins be consistent? It's different when you go from third or fourth guard to now surefire first and second. So I'm asking a lot of questions with this Michigan State team. Do I give Izzo the benefit of the doubt on making the tournament? Of course, they're going to make the tournament, but I don't think they're a top 25 team. I do not think that they are a top 25 team.
Well, a lot of it, if they are going to be a top 25 team, a lot of it hinges on the development of some of the young guys that they have, right? Who's going to take the next step? Specifically, Xavier Booker and Jeremy Fears, that sophomore class. How good are some of the freshmen that they have coming in? And like I get it. I get the concerns. Like I'm not blind to that. But one of the criticisms that we see of a lot of coaches, and one of the things that a lot of fans say their biggest issue with in the era of the transfer portal is that you don't have that continuity. You don't trust the player development. You don't have the opportunity to see guys grow year over year over year in a specific system. And I that's what you see with this Michigan State team, right? That's what you're seeing with this group. And maybe it's because Tom Izzo is being difficult and stubborn and he doesn't want to lean into the portal. But you got a 5-star in Xavier Booker that can play the 5. Now, the biggest question I have, it's kind of similar to the Mike Woodson stuff. And I guess we'll probably talk about that in a little bit, but um, will he be willing to play somebody at the 5 that isn't a big physical bruising 5? Like, will you be willing to go small ball? Right. And I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't know if he's willing to go all the way in there. So that, to me, that would be my biggest question mark. But yes, for this to be a national champion, if that's where we're setting the level of expectation right now with Michigan State, like, is this a national championship Final Four kind of a team? No, it's not. If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We are going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay boost or two from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today.
I want to know from you what you have made of Brad Underwood in Illinois' offseason.
I thought that they would have more success pulling some bigger names out of the portal. They went after some big names. They went after some big name recruits. They went after some big name players that were in the portal, and they missed on a number of them. That's not to say that I think that they're going to struggle, right? I do like the framework of a roster that has Ty Rodgers, Kylan Boswell, Kerry Booth, who I think is one of these upside guys that is going to be better than a lot of people realize. I get the Jake Davis commitment, like he's a big shooter that really knocked it down and shot the hell out of it at Mercer. And the I'm going to butcher your last name, Humrickhouse, whatever it is, Ben Humrickhouse. According to our producer Trevor, I think that he's going to be a good player as well. I know he started in an AAI program, but I'm buying the ability of Underwood to kind of identify guys that work there. And then Trey Wright from Louisville as well. Like, I think that they're going to be good. But when you lose a Terrence Shannon, when you lose a Marcus Domask, when you lose a Quincy Guerrier, when you lose so many of the guys that allowed you to function the way that he wanted to play last year, it's a tough sell for me to say that they're going to be at that same level, right? Look, Marcus Domask was a first team all Big 12 caliber player. Terrence Shannon was a first team all American caliber player. And Coleman Hawkins might have been arguably the most talented / skilled / versatile guy in the Big 12. It's very difficult to replace all that. So you're basically building a brand new team. And I don't see where the star power is with this group. I think that's the way I kind of summarize the offseason for Illinois. They'll be good, but it's going to be a step back from what they were last season.
You know what's going to be really interesting, Rob, is you're not just bringing in schools. You're bringing in schools that are going to be tough for a variety of ways. Number one, UCLA is looking for a bounce back year. I'm talking about the Big Ten here. And you know Nick
Mhm.
Cronin's going to be able to have a bounce back season. All signs point to that. He's not having 2 bad years in a row. Eric Musselman just injects a brand new energy to USC. The addition of Desmond Claude was big time, and that's not the only one that he's brought in. I like that hire. I think it only benefits USC basketball. Washington, they're going to be relevant, and Oregon. Like, I'm really bullish on Oregon and what they've got coming back. I mean, I think the world of Jackson Shellstad. They brought in TJ Bamba. Keyshawn, I'm going to butcher this last name again. You know the last name? Barthélemy. I like
Bartholomew,
him
yeah.
as well. Barthélemy. And that team, they could have very well been in the second weekend of the tournament this past year. They had Creighton beat. And Folly Dante had a lot to do with that, as did Jermaine Cuisinart. But I'll tell you what, I think that's the thing that's interesting about the Big Ten is that now Illinois, Purdue, Michigan State, there's not a lot of wiggle room here. These West Coast editions, these programs are primed to be in a really good place.
I'm so not ready for a world where we have to talk about Oregon and UCLA and USC and Washington competing with Purdue and Illinois and Indiana and Michigan State and Michigan at the top of the bit. I'm just so not ready for that world, man. Thanks for watching the Field of 68 After Dark. Make sure to hit that like button.